All right, our next tribute. How do you tell the mark of a great actor? By the way they transform a role, or how they bring you into their world that they've created? But how do you tell the mark of a great person? I say it's by the actions and the voice that they use, that's not in the creative world, but in the real world. Our 2017 Maverick Award is going to Matt McGorry. Matt is an incredibly talented individual that we've all loved as John Bennett on Netflix, Orange is the New Black, and currently stars as the quirky Asher Millstone on ABC's How to Get Away with Murder. Maverick, what is that? Someone who is independent-minded and unorthodox in their way of thinking. Although a great actor, Matt doesn't believe in the theory, as some have said, that actors should just act. You're an actor, man. No one cares about your opinion. Matt doesn't subscribe to this. Instead, Matt has chosen to speak out whenever he sees the human aspect of an issue needs a voice. At any given time, you can check out his Twitter and find him promoting a new cause that's dear to his heart. He's rallied strongly for the LGBTQ community, women's rights, and even in support of the controversial Black Lives Matter movement. We're going to take a look at a clip. The 2017 Maverick Award goes to Matt McGorry.
Hey everyone, thank you so much. I'm truly honored to be here. I'm the only asshole who prepared a little speech, so it won't be very long, I promise. Thank you for this award. It really means so much to me. Thanks for having me here. The festival's amazing. Congratulations to you for putting it on. Congratulations to all the filmmakers, actors, directors, producers who were here. And it's so great to be back in Catalina. It's the first time for July 4th, and I love it, so I'm really happy to be back here. Thank you to my parents who are here tonight, too, for making silhouettes. I'm not sure with you, for making eye contact with some random person. I apologize. But I want to thank you for always supporting me in my career and in my activism as well, and raising me with the values that I feel that I'm trying to continue to put in the world. I will say that if you had told me 3 years ago that I'd be receiving an award for my activism, I would have given you a very strangely puzzled look. I was not political in the least until 3 years ago, actually. And it wasn't until recently that it occurred to me that my lack of being political was actually rooted in the fact that I never needed to be. For my survival, I never needed to be. For my desire to be seen as a full and whole human being in this world, I did not need to be political. So, as a child, you know, Martin Luther King was someone that I looked up to greatly. You know, and we all know a bit about him. But what struck me in the recent years as I sort of re-educated myself is how much of a maverick he was, and how much at that time what he did was perceived to be so controversial. And a lot of us are familiar with a lot more of his specific quotes, but this is one that was written actually the year his last writing before he was assassinated. He said, "Whites, it must be frankly said, are not putting in a similar mass effort to re-educate themselves out of their racial ignorance. It is an aspect of their sense of superiority that the white people of America believe they have so little to learn." 50 years later, after this was written, I realized that he was talking about me. Before 3 years ago, I did not know how much I didn't know. This is true in regards to race, gender, sexual orientation, the fact that I grew up financially secure in my life. It was only through educating myself with books like The New Jim Crow and listening to people without defensiveness, well, I've been defensive, probably still am at times, trying to be not defensive, that I really began to deepen my knowledge and understanding about these experiences that I had never really gone through, and to wonder how I could be a part of the struggle for justice and equality. I think it's important for me to also acknowledge that there are people that are putting in this work that are mavericks, that do not receive this kind of recognition, that are more marginalized and oppressed than I will ever know, and that face harsher penalties compared to when I speak out on these things. And lastly, I want to end with a quote from Coretta Scott King, who was a civil rights activist and also Martin Luther King Jr.'s wife. She said, "Struggle is a never-ending process. Freedom is never really won. You earn it and win it with every generation. May we all continue to educate ourselves and to fight alongside those that are marginalized as we create a country and a world that we all deserve." Thank you.